Oh, wow. That doesn't give you like a countdown or anything. It just like throws you up there live. Okay, I'm sorry, guys, for sitting there looking like an idiot for like 2 or 3 minutes. Hey, everyone. You know me. I got it all screwed up, but that's okay because, new system, new rules. We'll figure it out one step at a time. Right? Could you stop? Say hi. 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 Does that work? No? Okay. What's up? What's up? What's up? Oh, so I totally can't like put stuff on the screen because if I did that, then I couldn't stream what I'm trying to stream and it's all kinds of crazy. Oh, well, I didn't do that. Okay, I don't even know how that's going. Okay, so let's start over. Let's pretend like this is like for a second. Hey, everyone. How are you doing today? Happy Friday. Happy Saturday. Welcome. So I'm a little perturbed. I kind of like that word, perturbed. I think that's a good word. Because my girl Lauren is having a bit of a hard time with someone that she covered. That was Lauren. Lauren, like, I can't pronounce her last name, Lauren, not Laura Owens, because she's always having a hard time. Life's hard. Life's hard. Life's hard. Trust me. I'm not going to tell you what it took for me just to get this hoop to do set up. So I was trying to figure out what was going on, and I apologized for, not updating you guys on the Laura Owens case since it happened. But I mean, the appeal was just recently filed, I think, if it's even been like completely submitted. And since then, like there really has been nothing but a bunch of like hot air on Twitter from the attorney. Like that there's been nothing of substance that I felt like I needed to share with you all because I didn't want you to lose any brain cells over a bunch of lies and stuff going back and forth. So I just kind of let Dave and them handle it, and because it was just all BS and rehashing the same thing. I mean, you can only tell the same lie so many different ways. It's still going to be the same lie. So anyways, but then I saw this video and it really bothered me because I didn't jump in and file a motion as a non-interested third-party intervener to say, listen, you're causing some issues in the YouTube world because you're whatever, I need to restrain you from doing this. To tell her to quit going on Medium and talking about things and calling us the JFC crew, which we could have figured something out to find some standing to do that. I didn't do that. Why? Because I'm not a lawyer. I mean, I passed the bar, but I know a little bit. Enough that you won't. Never mind. So you probably shouldn't go so far out of your lane if you are a lawyer to try and be a journalist or an entertainer or a commentator or a blogger or a video blogger, which would be a vlogger, or a podcaster, which would be an audio only podcast, or you could be a YouTuber, which would be video. YouTubers use video. You don't really so much podcast on YouTube. They're trying to get into that world, but really there's so many other people doing actual podcasts in the other worlds with the bigger streams. You kind of go over to, one of those massive platforms to do that. Yeah. Because when you do, you screw up royally. You don't have the ability to censor yourself. You don't have the ability to do things right, and you fumble all over yourself. So you also don't know the YouTube rules, because I guarantee you people who just click that button and say, oh, look, it's a camera. Look, Ziggy, it's a camera. Ziggy, look, we're on camera. Look, Ziggy, we're on camera. See, look. And it's going on the TV and people are watching us, huh? Yeah. We're special. So let's tell them everything they need to know because we're smarter than them, right? Yep, because we're the smartest people here. So let's tell them all about it and we'll tell them how stupid they are. And they have to sit and watch us because that's how it works, right? I can say anything I want and they can't get offended. I can name it anything I want and they can't get offended, right? Yeah, that's not how this works. It's not how any of this works. But I digress. You didn't come here to see me talk. I ain't come here to see me talk. Let's watch the self-proclaimed douche canoe tell us all about his life. Now, I would like to say that I am airing this stream. I am taking it from David, I don't know. I'll put a link in the description or something because I don't even know what his last name is. Channel, and I am restreaming it. The reason I am restreaming it is because I would like to provide you some commentary and context on what was being said. I am not streaming it for the same purposes that he was streaming it for, informational content about his lawsuit. I am trying to tell you about him and the things he said and the misinformation he said. Two different realms. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Okay, guys. Hello and welcome to the second edition of the podcast with no name. It's not a podcast. I know it's not a podcast. It's also not a blog. It may not be a vlog. I don't know. I guess every channel has to have a name. I don't have one. I guess we can call it the Grab 'em by the Pussy podcast. I don't know.
God, I meant to use
I got a little bit of a theme going today in that regard. Everyone knows my stance on this stuff, but
okay. So I totally meant to mute that. My sincere apologies. That is not a word we say on this channel. That is not a word we say on YouTube. That is not acceptable. Within the first so many seconds of your video. Why? Because that's when advertisers want to be in your video. So you don't say bad things in the first, it's usually a couple minutes of your video. You don't say derogatory terms, words, sexual innuendos, anything like that in the first couple minutes of your video. You would know that if you actually, tried to figure out what you were doing before you jumped in and just did it.
you got to be a little bit of a, you got to be able to take some humor at times.
That is true. I also would strongly suggest that you not put politically based ads right there in the forefront because you are going to attract a very diverse audience and your audience is probably not going to have the same political views as you, and forcing your political views down somebody else's throat isn't going to do you any good. So unless you have a very, very, very tiny little speck of an audience that you want, yeah, and nobody really cares what your political views are because they care about their own political views, and all it's going to do is start wars in your comment section and your anything else, and it's just going to be a shit show. Like, light a match. There's no reason. I think he says it again, and I don't know how to mute it.
Speaking of which, quality of my last video, I have treated myself to, I don't know, they say it's a good one, Sony ZV-F1. Not using it right now because I'm just trying to figure it out. But I think the issue also is lighting. So I got some better lights and I don't know, do I look better? I'm slightly less red. Not that I'm much to look at here. I got my hat on all day, so I'm not taking that off. Aurora and I are here at 4:15 on the 14th of November. I was going to give you some good news today about the appeal being filed. It's filed, the opening brief was filed today. I tweeted about that. I was going to give you some good news about the meeting that Laura and I had yesterday. We spent 2 hours shooting video. We had questions and answers. She did take a JFC question, or at least, a submitted one, and answered it. And her answer kind of surprised me. And yes, there is a.
The JFC thing infuriates me to no end. I have been classified as JFC. And it makes me think of a bad word that we don't say. Don't lump people together. It's like stereotyping people. You both are supporting the same thing, so you both must be bad. Like, how many minutes in are we? Oh, we're not far enough yet. Okay. So it's not okay to take a group of arbitrary people that you've not defined, blanket put that JFC crew as a statement on anyone who does not support Laura, which I just want to say, please, someone correct me if I'm wrong. Please, absolutely correct me if I'm wrong. Is everyone she's not related to? Maybe some of them. I'm not sure, but that she's not paying. Yeah, I haven't seen anybody. I haven't met anybody in my travels. Have you? If anybody has, please let me know, because I will absolutely correct those stats. I do not want my stats to be wrong, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it's everybody. So you can't be a sore loser. Like, if you're wrong, you're wrong. Like, just stop bashing people because you're wrong. That's not okay. It's not okay. And another thing is, 2 hours to record a YouTube video, unless that video is like 1 hour and 30 minutes long and you had to go poop in the middle of it, there's a problem. There's no reason for things to take that long. And just little side tip, YouTube is actually leaning more towards the more realistic, natural type of vlogging, where you just take a phone with you as you go about a certain part of your day and just talk casually. They don't want a big orchestrated, heavily edited, like, fix every single word that you say wrong and trim out where my dog keeps licking my hand every time it goes within 6 inches of his freaking lizard tongue. They don't want to see all that edited out. They just want natural. Like, be natural, just be you. Don't try and be perfect. Don't try and be what you think they want you to be. Be what you are, and you will attract the people who enjoy that. And the ones who don't will leave a comment and tell you why before they leave, and then they'll tell you that they're leaving too. Just FYI, heads up.
A tag on my headset because I have two of them. That's how I know this one's
forgot
mine.
my tag.
Anyway, I thought yesterday was a good day. I felt I hadn't
Where's my
seen,
tag?
since the trial June 10th, I had not seen Laura just one other time. I met
There's
with
my
her and her
tag.
mom, I don't know, in August or something, to make a final decision on whether or not I was going to help with the appeal. And obviously I agreed to do that.
I am so sorry, smart tech addict. I got so flustered with my stupid program that just threw me right in without giving me like a countdown, even like a 3, 2, 1, or like a 2, 1. Hey, you're live. Nope, it was just like spinning. Okay, you've been live for 10 seconds. Hi. And I forgot that I was gonna do an intro. I'm sorry. Fix my tag. This is David something. He represents Laura Owens. Laura Owens is a woman in Scottsdale, Arizona, who came out of the woodwork and accused Clayton Echard, who was a former participant in the Bachelor television show. you guys correct me if I'm wrong, because I never watched any of this stuff. The Bachelor television show, he was on the Bachelor television show, and, you know, he had to give one of the women a rose, and, you know, they were supposed to get together and all that. So he was pretty popular. He was on a well-known reality TV show. So afterwards, he moved on and became a real estate agent, and she hit him up, and he was a little woo one night from those gummies, invited her over. They had a little consensual fun, but, you know, didn't let it go all the way. But somehow she got pregnant without it even going all the way, according to her, and it turned into about a year and a half at this point long court case battle. It has been determined in the lower courts that she was not pregnant. It has been ruled by the courts that she was not pregnant. And she is now filing an appeal in the upper courts. They have said some really derogatory things about everyone involved. They have gone after the judge personally and her father, and they have they have sued Dave Neal, the comedian, and a journalist who has followed this case from day one. I'm going to put together a very concise stream about what's been going on. I was just irritated and wanted to do this because my dog told me to. He said, I want to sit on your lap and lick the air while you talk about things. And so her attorney has spent the past, the ruling in the case. So the hearing was June 10th, 2024. Is that right? And then, or that was the date of the hearing. In the ruling came out, you know, a month after that, maybe, finding in Clayton's favor. Since then, both Laura and her attorney, Mr. King, I can't say it, have been on Twitter and several other social media platforms, Medium or something like that, just absolutely blasting anyone who speaks out about them. And now they are issuing false copyright strikes through YouTube against creators who should dare try and kind of break this down and analyze it and try and get to the bottom of this situation. And it is reminiscent of the Lily Jean Truman situation, who they really need to hook them up. They'd be like a power couple. She has more than 600 and something false DMCA complaints. And basically what she does is any website, a Discord post, a Twitter post, anything that mentions her name, puts a picture of her, anything, she files a complaint and says, I own that. No, you don't. Sometimes you do. Sometimes you do. Absolutely. And people will give you your due. When you do, they will take it down. Creators are not trying to infringe on anybody's copyright. I don't care about your copyright. You earn your money from your excellent artwork. You created it. You earned it. What I'm trying to do is my artwork, which is not very artistic. It's not very worky either. It's more kind of bitchy today. Are we bitchy today? Maybe that's because you ran outside and barked at the big dog like 27 times and made me keep getting up. Could be why. Sorry, the dog and I we're kind of on bad terms. I need a spa day or something. So, what was I saying? Oh God, that ADD got me. I squirrel. I was going to start this stream off with a drawing because we hit, I don't even know what number we hit. We hit a number. We hit a number on our way to 100K. I'm a hot mess, y'all. MS has got my brain like chop suey. So please don't lick me. I have to go shower off the dog germs when we're done. He has struck down multiple things. There was a video of Laura that came out that was actually provided by one of her ex-boyfriends who took the video himself, making him the legal owner of the video. Like, just because you appear in a video doesn't mean you own it. You can't walk into Walmart and say, hey, I was on your surveillance. Give me it, I own it. It's not how this works. It's just not how it works. He provided it to a content creator who uploaded it and used it to show, hey, look at this date stamp. She was in court on this date. Boop. She was in court on this date. Boop. But she's like riding that horse. And then there was another one which fell off. I don't remember the dates. I might have that screwed up. If I do, I apologize. You're lucky I can tell you my name today. What's my name? What's my name? So both Laura and her mother separately copyright struck this creator. And you get 3 strikes and you're out. Lose your channel. Gone. And it's bullying and it's wrong. And just because you lost doesn't give you the right to bully people. Just because you have no case, you have nothing to support your hot air theory, doesn't give you the right to go around trying to hurt other people personally, professionally, financially, and all of that. I am absolutely dismayed beyond belief at some of the things that have happened in this trial, and that's what I will be putting together a stream about, because we have been talking about bad lawyers this week and things that lawyers do. Things that lawyers do that are within the bounds of the rules of civil procedure and the rules of professional conduct, and things that are kind of in that gray area where, they have to go in front of the board that regulates professional conduct in their state, and they have to explain themselves. And I think that everything is kind of going to sit until criminal charges are decided, because right now, is it Rebecca Mitchell? Rebecca Mitchell? That name doesn't sound right. Rebecca. The prosecuting attorney for Maricopa County has this case. It was referred to her by the family court judge, Judge Mata. Judge Mata said, hey, look, this isn't right. This person was using the family court justice system to hurt somebody else in a fraudulent way. They were falsifying documents. They were giving false testimony. They were giving conflicting statements. And they were doing all these things with the sole purpose of injuring the other party. That's bad. Can you look at that and see what you do with it? And so they're looking at it. The problem is that when you go to look at it, there is a literal shit ton. Like if you look it up in the dictionary and it says how much a shit ton is, that's how much paperwork and filings there are in this case. Absolutely ridiculous amount of filings. And they are pages and pages of the last 5 minutes we just watched where nothing was said of substance. That's what all these filings say. It's just rambling, repeating the same thing. Nothing is being said and nothing is being done, which interestingly enough, I'll have to tell you, tomorrow I will have a video out for you that you might enjoy. It's an attorney in Florida who is sanctioned for filing a frivolous lawsuit where his petition and then his supplemental and everything is just ramblings. and citations, and his arguments are baseless, and there aren't really many arguments, and he basically wasted the court's time. JFC means justice for Clayton. Justice for Clayton, that's how this all started, because Clayton Eckert, he lost the first couple court hearings because the original judge ruled against him, and the primary basis of the ruling was, look at this picture of her. Do you think she would have posted this picture of herself? Because she looked like shit in the picture. Really? That's what you're going to base it on? Don't get me started on that. So he lost that, and all of this time has had a restraining order against him, where he is not allowed to speak publicly about certain things. I like that. Just fucking crazy. Ah! Hey, I'm almost to the, I almost got the batshit crazy keychains ready. All right. I don't know if I can do this whole thing.
That.
Keep going.
I hadn't seen her since then. And so we got together yesterday, and I thought it was going to be a good day. It was a good day until it wasn't. And I have a rule about not talking about things, or not, if I get an email that makes me mad, I should not respond to it for 24 hours. That's been a rule for years. I don't know if everybody, I feel like a lot of people have the same kind of attitude of just sleep on it. Don't talk about things when you're mad. I don't want to talk about what happened with the podcast situation and JFC. I need to formulate my thoughts. If you're watching this and if you're not happy with me for using the word cult, I'm not talking about people that are interested in the case, and I'm not talking about people that are Clayton supporters, and I'm not talking about people that don't believe Laura. None of those things makes you a cult member. So if you fall into any of those categories, my apologies. I'm not referring to you as a cult member.
Thank you for that apology. So none of us are cult members? So who's the cult member? Because I think you referred to all of us as cult members. And I just want to say, because I'm quite sure that Mr. I can't say his name, and he referred to himself at the beginning of the other video as Douche Canoe. So I am going to respectfully refer to him as Douche Canoe because I am copying what he said and how he introduced himself, because I can't say his last name. So Attorney Douche Canoe said that Lola, cat runs away. Okay, the cat comes home. Now she doesn't stop meowing. Doesn't stop meowing. All she wants is outside. Meows all the time. It's driving me freaking crazy. I can't keep her in the house. Okay. I forgot what I was saying. God, I hate MS. I'm so sorry. The cult thing. I'm sure he's not watching. I'm sure they're not watching. But if anybody happens to get a message to them, he needs to understand that there are people in this world, and possibly in your little bubble, in your circle, in your audience, who may have grown up in a cult. They may have escaped a cult. They may have done it recently. They may have done it as a child. It may be really fucking traumatic to them. And you using that term so flippantly, like it means nothing, is fucked up. Excuse my language today. I'm kind of worked up. It's the same as Laura Truman walking around pointing at every single person and calling them a Nazi because she's Jewish. That's not okay. You can't do these things. You can't act like this. That's not how this world works. What's wrong with these people?
The cult is the people that do this. This isn't even what made me mad, but this is a flyer that a cult member produced and sent to everybody at Laura's gym. This was weeks ago, maybe a month ago, maybe 2 months ago. This wasn't even what made me that mad.
Does anyone know what that
And again,
says?
I'm not going to get into what made me mad or what I'm going to do about it. There will be something done about it. My friend Mark Randazza uses the phrase crossing the Rubicon, which I'm not smart enough to know what that means. I think it means
What did he misspeak about, Teresa? I'll be happy to rewind it. So he loves to say, I'm not smart enough to know what that means. Ho, ho, ho. Give me a freaking break. You know exactly what that means. The phrase crossing the Rubicon is an idiom that means passing a point of no return. Its meaning comes from allusion to the crossing of the river Rubicon in the north by Julius Caesar in early January 49 BC, although the exact date is unknown. Yeah. And like, your client went to a national publication. Come here, Roxy. You want to show him what a fat cat looks like? Come here, honey. Come on. And falsely accused someone of knocking her up and abandoning her. And you're mad about a flyer that an anonymous person put up at a gym?
when your enemy does something so bad that
Your
it's time to
enemy.
declare war. I have not declared war on JFC yet. That time is probably around the corner. I've been trying to deal with this in the most professional way I can. I know that sometimes my tweets don't come across professional. I'm the first person to admit that, okay? I sound like a dick when I write.
Good.
That's why I'm going to try to do some video, even though I'm not good at it.
I'm really sorry, dude. I'm really sorry, Mr. Douche Canoe, sir. You sound like a dick when you talk, too. Just shut it down. Shut it down. Go back to the legal world. That's where you came from. That's what you know. That's what you do. I saw your law degree on the wall, and it is not written on the back of a Denny's napkin with crayon. So just go for it. Come here, sweet girl. Let's show him what a fat cat really looks like. Yes, this is what a good kitty looks like. Sometimes you just sound like what you are. I sound like a babbling idiot because my medication is worn off hours ago. I haven't slept right in days. I'm quite possibly going into another MS flare up, and I'm pretty irritated, and emotions make my everything go crazy. So, yeah, it kind of like, it is what it is. Yeah, I kind of felt bad for his cat too until I thought about, like, remember the cat in the Smurfs, Ezreal? It took me years to remember that. Like, Gargamel loved her. She was well taken care of. Things can happen. A lawyer publicly declaring that people who oppose his client are his enemy and that he is going to declare war on them, and doing this after she has been found to have done all what she did. And I can't list it off verbatim by the book, and I know if I say anything too off, he's taking notes right now. It's like, ooh, I'm gonna sue her. Ooh, I'm gonna sue her. And I'm like, yeah, buddy, take this mortgage payment. Yep, I'm upside down on my car too. Hold on, let me write that note over to you. What else you want? I still owe some money on my swim spa. You want that too? Threatening people is not the way to get what you want in this world. It really isn't.
I'm practicing. Maybe my new camera will be amazing and it'll just be awesome. And Aurora and I can sit here and look our best. Does everyone want to see? Oh, she's here, and she's not fat. If you think this cat is fat, look in the mirror, okay? Um,
That's another thing. Don't randomly insult your audience. Hey guys, all like 20 of you that are in the chat. Look, do you see my face? Do you think my face is puffy today? Yeah, well, if you do, you're fat. What the fuck? Who does that? Who does that?
Aurora is a stray
And I just want to say, like, justice for Aurora, please.
cat. She showed up. She's not a very friendly cat, is she?
God help her.
She showed up in the
She didn't mean
backyard 5
to.
years ago, and she just said, "I'm here, and you're feeding
She
me."
was chasing
And
a
that's all there is
lizard
to
and
it.
was like,
She happens
damn
to
it, I was
be,
trying to get out.
I think, a very attractive cat. I think she's a good-looking cat. She's not warm and fuzzy. She does like her daddy, so she spends a lot of time with me. But anyway, we're not going to call it the Pussy Podcast or whatever.
Do not refer to yourself as the cat's daddy. Do not use that P word. Rules of life. If you're going to keep doing this, you know, let's work together here. Let's set some ground rules on the things we can and can't do in this world. Those are 2 of them. We don't use the P word. We don't call ourselves daddy. Unless you're over on that other channel with the I don't know what it's called, but you make way more money than you make here. I heard Lily Jean Truman put her feet over there. I don't know if that's true or not. Except
I'm going to come up with a better name. It's not a podcast, whatever, a channel on my video. Let's talk about some stuff that is relevant. I want, if I'm going to talk to you guys and if I'm going to take
only
the time to do this,
cats.
I want to add value. I want to share information that maybe you don't have, particularly because I don't think the other people who are giving you information are doing a very good job of telling the truth.
That is a defamatory statement. Borderline. The other people who are giving you information are reading you court documents and telling you the bare bones truth as he wrote it. So I'm not sure like what else he wants beyond that. I do believe they're allowed to add their own commentary on top of that. Thank you so much, Squid. No, see, he can get mad at me, but I'll just paint him a douche canoe and put some nachos in it and send it to him. It'll be fine. I'll send you a picture later. I said respectfully after every sentence, didn't I? Respectfully.
They disagree and they think I'm the epitome of evil in that department. But something in the appeal. Oh, so the brief when you read it, and I'll share it when I need to share it. I think the best way to do this is, it's not really fair to Clayton, to be honest. If I release my brief first, his brief isn't written yet. He doesn't have.
Are you gonna tell me after everything that happened, now you're worried about being fair to Clayton? That's your concern?
He's got 40 days until at least Christmas Eve to submit it. I've already been in contact with the guy from Woodnick's firm. I don't think Woodnick does appeals really himself. He has another guy that helps. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
That, my friend, is why people don't always care for you. Because that was unnecessary. There was no reason at all for you to say that. But you thrive on putting other people down. And you go out of your way to insult other people and try to diminish them somehow. When I seriously doubt that statement made anybody think any less of Woodnick, because we saw him practice and we saw him blow everybody out of the water. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen another attorney stand in a courtroom straight-faced and say, have you been in there? Or no, have you been up in there? I fell out of my chair when that happened. Like, and Woodnick was embarrassed having to say it, but what else was he going to say? He got the point across, and he got what it was the truth. He hadn't. No. And that's a requirement to getting pregnant. Some of you guys didn't catch that. Me and him. But he's trying to throw in there, oh, Woodnick doesn't do appeals. Woodnick doesn't write briefs. He doesn't. But I do. Look at all these things of mine that have gone to the Supreme Court, that have gone here, that have gone there. Everything in life is not a dick measuring contest. Like, just be a person. Be a person. Don't try and be better than everybody else. And people would like you. Like, I really think him and Laura could do so much good in this world. What was your question? Did they put up? Yeah, the judge ruled against her. Yes, I believe. Well, I mean, when you're 12, it's okay to get the ruler out. It's still growing. You got to keep track of it. But when it's, you're an adult, you don't need to keep measuring. And you definitely don't need to be comparing with, the guy on the other side of the brother counsel. Yes, I do believe they had to put up a bond. In most states, you have to put up a bond whenever you're going to do an appeal, which sometimes is equal to what you are. Sorry, God, I gotta get a new desk. What you are appealing. In other states, it's a different amount. I think I put up the video, the way back, the old school video. In that case, the woman was not sanctioned, but the father was awarded $50,000 in attorney's fees, and the mother wanted to appeal it. There was additional things that were going on, but the mother wanted to appeal it. So she went and asked for, a bond so she could appeal, and the bond was going to be $60,000. And she's like, how am I going to afford that? Like, I can't afford that. I'm a person, normal people can't afford that. So she ended up having to file bankruptcy, and she couldn't even appeal the case because of the bond that was required to do so was more than her actual judgment. Thank you so much, Julie. I hope that's a good thing and not a bad thing. Thank you, Idaho. Oh, Austin. Austin gets access to the back catalog again. Okay, I'm sorry. Keep going. I don't have all night for this.
I've already told him, if you want to extend an extension of time, I will agree to that. There's no reason to work on stuff over the holidays. So I think he may want to, and he hasn't said that he wants an extension yet, but I think we're going to probably bump out Clayton's deadline to early January. It makes sense. Then he has, not to worry about this over Christmas and Thanksgiving. And I don't have to worry about my reply, which I get 20 days to do that. I don't want to work on that over the holidays. So I think that makes sense. We'll move it out. Court of Appeals doesn't care. We're obviously, a month early filing this thing. But when you read the brief, again, one of the most important things I want people to understand is how appeals work. This is not relitigation. This is not trial part 2. This is not me asking the Court of Appeals. And by the way, the Court of Appeals means a 3-judge panel. It will be 3 randomly selected judges. From the Court of Appeals in Tucson, which I think they have about a dozen judges on the court. So they'll pick 3 of them, and those will be our judges. They will know nothing about our case. They will not have read or heard or seen anything about it. And, they're human beings. Maybe they watched a little news. I don't know. Tucson's a kind of quiet place. So
he talks in freaking circles. Thank you so much, Tina, for the 5 gifted memberships. And thank you, Teresa, for the super sticker. Thank you so much. It's a little cute. There is a agreement between like District 1 and District 2 in Arizona where they cat clause share cases because their caseloads are, I guess they fluctuate. And so when one gets too many cases, they'll shift some over to the other and vice versa. So this is one of the cases that got shifted out of the jurisdiction into another jurisdiction. So instead of being in Scottsdale, it's going to be heard in Tucson.
We are not going to ask them to relook at the evidence. We are not going to ask them to say, Laura was not pregnant. Clayton lied about everything. That's not how appeals work. You can't relitigate the facts of the case. And I've explained
Why
this
does
to
he talk
Laura
to
as
people like they're
picture
crazy,
two different,
like
I used
stupid?
the metaphor of a baseball stadium. I don't know why. Two different buckets, two different cups. Okay, here's one cup right here. So we got the Trump cup here, and over here is an imaginary Biden cup. It's imaginary because he's gone. But let's say that the Trump cup is the facts of the case, okay? And the Biden cup is the law. The facts of the case are things like, was Laura pregnant? Was the sonogram real? Did she lie? Did Clayton lie? Blah, blah, blah. Those are facts. Those are the facts of the case. And Mata made factual findings. Those facts go into the fact cup. The law cup is things like, how does the law apply to this? What is...
Okay, I can't listen to this. You guys aren't 5 years old. Hey, let me summarize this for you. When you appeal a case, you have to appeal it on an error of law or an error of procedure or some other grievance like that. In this family law case, they are not going to do a de novo review. A de novo review is when you review it from scratch, from the beginning, and look at everything. They are not going to look at any of the evidence. They're just going to look at whatever specific errors you point out in your brief to say, hey, the trial court screwed up with this, and with this. This is why. This is the case law to support it, and so on. An error of law only, yes and no. Sometimes they list procedural errors separate because it's how you classify it. Like the rules of civil procedure are rules. Are they laws? Are they rules? It's just terminology. But there has to have been a mistake on that side of things, and it's not, hey, they were wrong. And like, you could have said that in like 5 words, but he wants to make it all confusing and give you all these freaking analogies and stuff, and I can't listen to that anymore. So let's fast forward.
Talk a whole lot about the law, because under the law, they're absolutely fucked. I don't mean to be rude, but there's no law to help them at all. The facts, yeah, there's some facts that are good for them. I never said there weren't. I never said that Laura was perfect. I never said that every single aspect of the case was 100% in our favor. It's not. No case is like that. And obviously Mata, okay, now we're going to segue into that. It is possible, and look, but as I get down this next sort of line of thinking, I will stop and say that there is a rule of professional conduct that I am bound by that says I'm not allowed to make a knowingly false statement impugning the integrity of a judge. I am about to make some statements that impugn the integrity of a judge. I, first of all, do not know any of them to be false. I believe them to be false.
That is his catch-all for everything he does. I don't know that that's false. At some point in time, that's not going to work, and it's going to bite him in the rear end, because most things go by like the reasonable person standard. Would a reasonable person know that that was true? Which is why Corey Keith bowed out gracefully. Yeah, I can't argue this because I can't rationalize it in my head. I can't make it make sense. You can't make it make sense. And when you can't make it make sense anymore, no matter how hard you twist it and turn it and try to squeeze it into that tiny box, it won't work. A rational person can't do that either. Mr. Dushkanu Esquire is obviously exceptional at being able to understand things that the average person is not able to understand. I would assume he has a very, very high IQ, and that's what allows this.
Factual. I also am stating some opinions about things, and I want to be very, very clear about what's opinion and what's fact. So the facts that we know are, and these are not news, and they are mentioned in the appeal, is the Planned Parenthood closed on Sundays thing. I believe, and I
just want to say, just because he mentions it in an appeal doesn't mean it's fact.
and have accused Judge Mata of violating the U.S. Constitution, the Code of Judicial Conduct, a variety of different rules that say you can't do that. There are rules that
Do
limit
what?
when you are a fact finder, and in a bench trial, the judge is a fact finder. In a jury trial, the jury is a fact finder. And if you've ever served on a jury trial, you know the judge will tell you, you can't go do independent
What are
research.
you
Don't go
talking
look
about?
on Google. You can't look things up. You can't do that because it's a violation of the basic rules of fairness, because if you go
What
do
are you
that behind the
talking about?
scenes, the other parties don't know what you looked at. You may look at something on Google and it's not true. You can't do it behind the scenes because it's not fair to both parties who have a right to know, what did you look at? Is it true? Our job is to ferret out the truth. And sometimes the truth is out there and sometimes it's not accurate. And anyway, you can't do that kind of investigation. I believe that Mata did do that kind of investigation. I explained why in my pleadings. I don't need to go back over that too much.
It was all speculation. There was nothing. He, in the prior pleadings, he had no facts or anything to back up any of that. Everything that he alleged was because I think so. And unless he put something new in this new brief, but
But one thing I do want to share that people may not know.
this is not going to be heard anytime this century, if at all. It was just appealed, and it's usually like several years before it actually gets before a panel. And this is just, he likes to spread misinformation. He likes to spread, in my opinion, there are two types of lawyers in this world. There is one type of lawyer who looks at the big picture of things, looks at the history of a law, looks at the overall cases that were used to make that case law, those precedents be set, and tries to figure out, the big picture as a whole. And then there's the type of lawyer that is almost robotic and looks at the words on the paper, just those words, takes these words and tries to make them fit with these words, but I don't want these words. I'm going to leave these words out and I'm going to bring these words in. And it doesn't matter that these words and these words don't go together, but I'm going to pull this out and make this fit. And I'm only going to use these words out of this sentence, because if I use the whole sentence, it doesn't make sense. But if I just use these words, then it says what I want it to say. And I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm just saying that's two opposite ways to look at things. And when you micro focus on these tiny little issues that in the overall scheme of things are not issues, like, you're just you're deflecting everything. All you're trying to do is nitpick at all these little things that aren't things and waste everybody's time, to take away from the fact that your client has been, I guess, adjudicated as being a liar. I mean, I don't really know what exactly that would be termed as. The court has ruled that she was never pregnant, although she claimed to be. Yeah, like that's the thing that you should be worrying about. You should be fixing that. That's the thing
Is
that needs
when I
fixed.
got back from my cruise, I
Oh,
was on
thank you,
the boat
Shane.
until the end of June. I got back. I immediately, at that point, the bomb had already gone off as far as Mata had ruled against us. There was a thinking on the
Bomb.
cruise when I first heard about the dad being at court. That's all I knew. I didn't have the ruling from the judge yet, so I didn't know that about the closed on Sunday thing. All I knew was her dad being there. There was some thinking on the cruise that we should file a notice of change of judge and try and get a different judge before Judge Mata had a chance. I was suspicious and I was worried when I found out about the dad being there. It was sort of the last in a chain of events that began with her rulings on things that were really, really not normal in my experience. For her to deny a request for an extension of time, the very first thing I filed was a request for more time to respond to Woodnick's motion to compel. I didn't have the file from the other lawyer. I had just gotten on the case. I literally filed that motion, I think the day I was hired. No other judge I've ever been in front of would have denied a request like that. And Judge,
I guarantee you they would have if they had been through what this judge had been through with this petitioner and the 7 people that came before you. It had nothing to do with you. It had to do with what happened before you. And I actually have seen it happen all the time. You should watch some court on YouTube. Like, for real. I see it happen all the time. Some dude got the file that morning and is like, I don't even have discovery. They're like, sorry about your luck. Maybe your client shouldn't have dicked around for so long before he hired you. Oopsie.
Mata did without explanation. And the result of that was, unfairly favorable to Clayton and Woodnick, unfairly prejudicial to Laura. And there were other rulings down the way where Mata did things that looked to me like they indicated bias. And that's, if a judge is biased, they're not allowed to be on your case. Unfortunately, you can't argue bias based on the judge ruled against me. That's not how the law, everybody would, in every single case, would say, oh, I lost, so the judge must not be fair. You can't do that. I respect that rule. That's why I didn't do anything about it at the time. On the cruise, we thought, once we found out the dad was there, I said that's kind of the last straw. I think we have.
Who's we? Did Laura go on the cruise with him? Or is he just sharing all this confidential, privileged information with his wife, who's not a lawyer? I mean, I don't. I'm kind of interested who this we is that he's having all these in-depth conversations with while he's on a cruise in the Mediterranean or wherever he was. And who freaking cares if her dad came and watched it? Like, so what? You own a business with your father. Is that a bad thing? Are you not allowed to, do anything with your parents?
Enough at this point to do something. I then sent an email to the judge's clerk. I asked her whether the dad was there and whether the statements about her talking to him about the case were accurate. Instead of denying that, Judge Mott.
No one ever said that. This is the first time I have heard that. Has anybody else heard that before now? There was never statements about her talking to him about the case. There were statements that he made something about a shit show, which didn't come from him. It came from, I believe it was Megan Fox or somebody that said it. It may have been me that said it. I don't know. I say it all the time. Somebody said it on a live stream, and that's how it was misinterpreted. He made a comment about being there to watch the festivities or something like that. Like, you can't keep adding and changing facts and twisting them as things go on, because an untruth is still an untruth, no matter how many more untruths you add to that untruth. Like, you can't keep doing it. You've got to, at some point in time, like, let it go and move on to something else and stop harassing this judge who did nothing wrong.
Said file a motion. Okay. And then 11, 12 hours later, she rules against us. So I get back from the cruise, and then we have a ruling. Then we have the time to go through and find, hang on a minute. And Laura initially thought, she reached out to me and she said, holy shit, Mata copied all this from JSC. And I said, what do you mean? She said, well, look at this timeline. Look at all these facts. This is straight copied off justiceforclayton.com. And I went there, and she was kind of right. Most of it, a lot of
how
it
it was presented
is
in court.
Almost word for word, but not entirely. And the timeline on JFC is not, I don't think it's necessarily.
Didn't JFC take that timeline pretty much from like all the motions that were filed in court, and like use the motions that were filed in court by Woodnick to develop that timeline. But wait, he's not talking about JFC, because JFC is not, that's not JFC. JFC is the people putting the flyers, right? Idaho, this is Laura Owens' attorney, like, telling the whole world that they're evil and
wrong in terms of the events and so forth. The content I don't agree with, but that was my initial red flag to hang on a minute. Is the judge basing her rulings on JFC's website, which was not offered into evidence, would not be a basis for her to rule on anything. But I was not comfortable because when I started to look at, I submitted a very detailed proposed findings of fact and conclusions of law where I explained the timeline. The judge could have used that timeline. I think she did use the timeline I gave her. That's why you do that sort of thing. You give the judge, you basically try and do the judge's homework for them. That is totally proper. It's something
no
lawyers
way did
routinely
Woodnick do the same
You're
thing.
just telling them, here's what the evidence is about to show you. And then, they hear the evidence and then they look back at your timeline and they say, oh yeah, you were right. Okay, so you've done my homework for me. I'll just use that. I could not argue anything about Mata doing independent research unless I could confirm that the information in her findings could not have come from anywhere but outside of the pleadings or outside of the evidence. And because I submitted the detailed findings of fact, conclusions of law, and my findings of fact kind of match.
All he's talking about is my. What about like the other sides who filed like just as many, or all those people before you? Did you watch that game tape? Like, because there's a lot of it.
The JFC timeline. Did she
There
get
weren't
her timeline from
costumes in some
JFC?
of
Did
it.
she get it from me? You can't tell. So I couldn't raise that issue. But the closed on Sunday thing, when we finally saw that, I then panicked and thought, Jesus effing Christmas. I was not on this case from the
We
beginning.
don't say that either.
What if it was raised somewhere else? My office phone is ringing, and thanks a lot.
Wasn't it the female attorney, name just flew out of my head, who brought that up while she was on the stand and said, so if I called and asked them that and they were closed on Sunday, would I be a liar or something along those lines? I need to pull that and see.
Do I edit? No, I'm just going to hang up on that. Yeah, Aurora, I know. So anyway, I was worried that the issue of Planned Parenthood's business hours, what if it was mentioned at a prior hearing that I wasn't at? What if it came up in some other, pleading that I didn't read because it was before my time? Or what if there's an email between Corey and Woodnick talking about that issue? So I had to go.
He knows that's ridiculous because she didn't use that date until she got on the stand that day. That is when she changed the date. Prior to that, it was a completely different date. Completely different. The case is closed in Superior Court, so it's possible you can get the transcripts. Usually you have to have a transcript prepared in order to file in the appellate court. So there should be one, physically be one somewhere, so it shouldn't cost as much to get one. Yeah, it should be possible to get.
Back over the entire file.
For the depo. For the trial, we can just make one from the video if somebody will remind me.
The fine-tooth comb, me, Laura, and my wife who works with me, so she's kind of my paralegal, we all separately went over more than 1,000 pages of pleadings from the file to try to figure out, was that Planned Parenthood on Sunday thing mentioned anywhere else? And it was not. And if you think about it, there's a good explanation for why there wasn't any discussion about it, because Laura never said she went to Los Angeles until the minute of trial. So she was sitting on the stand. It was always Orange County. Right? Orange County's open on Sunday. So why the hell would anybody care about their business hours on Sunday? They're open. It never became relevant until the minute she was on the stand and changed her story. And we're going to get to that, not today. But that was when Sunday became an issue, and that's why prior to trial and everywhere in the file, there was never the word Sunday mentioned, not once. So when I found that out, I then filed a complaint. In addition to, so I filed a notice of change of judge for cause. I filed a motion for new trial. I also filed a complaint with the Judicial Conduct Commission. I'm not going to share that. What they do is confidential. If you look at the Judicial Conduct Commission rules, they have been criticized for being a bit too secretive. They do not have a docket. You cannot call them. You're welcome to try. What they will tell you is there's a complaint pending against Judge Mata. Here is the case number, right there. Case number 2024-265. So this is their letter back to me acknowledging the complaint. I filed the complaint about a week before this. I think it was the 9th of July.
Come on.
And they wrote back to me and have confirmed the complaint that there has been some.
This is where my blood boils. You can see my chest is getting all red. I respect the legal system. I respect Dushkanu Esquire, David, yeah, him. I respect him as an attorney. I would not sit in a courtroom and talk like this about him because he is an officer of the court. I respect that. I respect his judicial duties. I respect the judge. I am not going to make things up and twist the truth for someone who has a long-standing, stellar reputation. Just looked over and read the word relationship. Don't look. Just because my client lost and I'm grasping at straws, trying to get something to salvage, like this quicksand cesspool pit that she's in. That is the dirtiest thing I have ever heard. He knows that's not true. And if he doesn't, then he sees the world through a completely different lens than anyone I have ever met. And I've met a lot of people.
Additional discussions with, well, not discussions, but some additional correspondence with them. And I'll get to that in a minute. This is where I'm going to tell you some speculation. These are not facts. I'm giving you my opinions based on what I've just explained. I filed the notice of change of judge, filed the request for a new trial, so on and so forth, and I filed the complaint with the Judicial Conduct Commission. Mata then denied Laura's motion for a new trial while her the notice of change of judge was pending. She had no authority to do that. You've probably seen some discussion about that. When you file a notice of change of judge, the rule basically says, and case law interpreting the rule says, the judge that you're trying to get rid of is essentially sidelined. They can rule on emergency matters only, but other than that, they are not supposed to touch the case in any way, shape, or form until the notice of change of judge is resolved. Makes perfect sense. Judge Mata violated that rule. And she ruled on the notice of change of judge, or I'm sorry, she ruled on the motion for new trial, and by denying it, a week or so after I filed this complaint. And there's a rule that when you file a complaint against a judge, they are not allowed to retaliate against you.
See, the thing is, he filed those both at the same time. Number one. So it's quite possible she got one, ruled on it, didn't even see the other one. Number two, case was done. She ruled, it's over. Like, take it to the appeals court. That's not how we do this. Like, you can't run around and stomp your feet and say, redo, after it's done. Final goal scored, they've run around and did their victory lap. It's over. Tires got spun. We're out of there. I think he doesn't plan to practice in Arizona much longer. Like, I can't for the life of me. I can't. I'm going to do a very well put together, intelligent stream that's not just me rambling on about how utterly dumbfounded I am that someone would just implode their entire career over this. Because I can't see a benefit for him other than maybe he wants to be a YouTube star and he's not going to. because he doesn't have the personality for it. He rubs everybody the wrong way. And I mean, I don't have a personality for it. Now, I get it. I just don't have a choice. So I woo you with presents and gifts and good court content and keep my mouth shut most of the time. He's just so nasty to everybody. And unless he's going to go over, and parrot Trump every day, and there's people that like that, I just don't get it. If he hasn't crossed a boundary, he is walking a tightrope on every single one of them. Ethically, in regards to the judge, in regards to the things he did at the courthouse, in regards to putting his client on the stand. So many things are questionable. The friggin' sign language in court. So many things are questionable. The threatening people, the threats to make people homeless. Who does that? No, I live next to Levy County. I am not touching Levy County.
One of the examples of retaliation is they are not allowed to file a frivolous bar complaint. The rule doesn't specifically say they can't deny motions that they have no authority over, but Mata did. The day I got her ruling on that, I contacted the Judicial Conduct Commission and reported a violation of the retaliation rule, or what appeared to be a violation of the rule. I felt and still feel that what happened is Judge Mata ruled against us on that motion for new trial as a form of retaliation for this complaint. If that's true, it's a separate violation.
It wasn't because she was following the law and you were breaking it?
It's a violation of the Judicial Conduct Commission rules. It would probably be separate grounds. I mean, Mata, like I said, I'm accusing her of a specific violation of the Code of Judicial Conduct based on her independent investigation and based on her talking to her father. If along the way she also retaliated against me in violation of commission rules, that could be an aggravating factor if they decide to punish her. Anyway, what happened is I contacted the commission the day I got her order denying our new trial motion, and then the very next day, Mata issues a new order withdrawing her prior ruling saying, oops, I did not know about the notice of change of judge, which is not a very credible thing to claim when the motion for new trial on page 1 said, there's a notice of pending notice of change of judge, so I don't know who's going to rule on this. But Mata claims
like he's never missed anything in writing. So I'm still not sure what he's talking about with the Planned Parenthood. I pulled up the judge's ruling. Planned Parenthood is mentioned several times throughout the ruling, but just kind of recapping what was said, what date she said she was there, that she said she was at Los Angeles, not the Mission Viejo. And then it goes down to Samantha Dean, which is the doctor that was the expert witness for Clayton. And it says in her testimony that she further testified that Planned Parenthood was not open on Sundays. When the petitioner testified, she sought care July 2nd, 2023. And she was questioned on that following Laura saying that on the stand, I believe. I'm pretty sure. Yes, because they went first. Laura said that on the stand, that it was that date, which was a Sunday, and then they asked Dr. Dean's that. So I don't know what his issue with that is.
She ruled on that motion without knowing that there was, anyway. I think it was retaliation. I do not know for a fact. It is possible that it's just a coincidence. When she withdrew the prior dismissal or denial thing, I think the date was before I contacted the Judicial Conduct Commission. So if that date is accurate, which is not the date that it was filed with the court clerk stamps it and it has the court clerk's date. That date was after I contacted the commission to report the retaliation. The date on the order is before that. So she either issued that order before I reported the retaliation or possibly put a date on the order that's not accurate. That's not a fact. I do not know that. That is it's just pure speculation. I don't know. I'd like to know. I'd like to dig into that more. If that happened, whew. Anyway, let's not go further down that. That is not a statement of fact. That is my opinion. But here's another fact. On September 17th, 2024, so about 2 months ago now, Judge Mata filed a bar complaint against me. I have it here. Yep, September 17th. Why do you think that our trial was June 10th? September 17th is over 3 months later. Why do you think that she waited more than 3 months to report me to the bar? Could it be?
Probably for the same reason that I have a small claims case against my contractor sitting on my desk that I should have taken to the courthouse 4 months ago. People are busy, man. You got shit to do. You're not a priority.
Because of this, I don't know. Again, I don't know. To me, it looks like retaliation. I have, by the way, reported a second act of retaliation.
He thinks he's important and at the top of her list. And my personal opinion, this whole stream is my personal opinion. Everything is my personal opinion. I am providing an opinion commentary stream. Yada, 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 whatever. It is my opinion that he is at the bottom of the barrel, and it took her that long to get through her stack on her desk to get to that little note that said, Dushkanu Esquire broke these rules to do it. It'd take me longer than that.
To the Judicial Conduct Commission. And what I will tell you as a factual matter, again, everything they do is secret. I can't tell you what the status is. They may very well have dismissed my complaint. The complaint is primarily, like I said, it's based on things you already know. There's nothing, I didn't put in the complaint.
Karen, that's such a good point. I almost bet you if they would have bowed away gracefully and, waited a week or two, set up a press conference, we're very sorry this happened, our apologies to Clayton, his family, everything that happened. We're going to donate some money to charity. Laura's going to go get, whatever she needs to get better. We're all going to try and live happy, healthy, fulfilled lives and educate people on how to properly use the justice system. I guarantee you she would not have filed that. She probably would have said, good for them. But no, what she could have seen was nasty posts, blogs on his law firm's webpage. Horrible, nasty insults, threats, and everything else on his public Twitter. And it's not like the judge isn't allowed to go on Twitter if she wants to read the news. Like, how else are you supposed to find out that there's a volcano erupting or something?
Anything more than what I've already put in the pleadings as far as the notice of change of judge and stuff. But although the conduct of the Judicial Conduct Commission is secret, because I'm the complaining party, I have the right to know how my complaint was resolved. When they conclude the case, they will let me know, hey, we dismissed it, or we didn't dismiss it. As of November 14th, 2024, they have not notified me that they have dismissed it. Now, it may very well be that they are beyond busy. They may have not even looked at my complaint yet. They may have done nothing whatsoever. And they may wind up in a month or 2 or 3 sending me a letter saying, Gingras, we looked at your complaint. Go screw yourself. She did nothing wrong. That has not happened yet.
And they may not tell him anything because there's so many complaints against him on this same case that they may say, oh, that dumpster fire is a bit heavy. Let's put that lid down and let it simmer for a little bit, and then we'll look at the whole thing once it, a little ashy.
I think that means, and I like I said, I reported her retaliation, her apparent acts of retaliation twice to the commission.
Who does that?
And they did respond, and I asked
twice.
The second time, I said, can you give me a status report? And they said, no.
It was that critical.
They said, we're adding this information to the file, is what they said. I think that implies that they are taking the complaint seriously, and I think with good reason. because I believe that what I claimed happened. I believe that Judge Mata.
Can I just say there are places where there are judges out there, like there's not many, but there are attorneys and judges who are straight up crooked, breaking the law, like taking bribes, major, major offenses. And we're going to submit 2 complaints, not 1, but 2, and then follow up with a phone call because she may have, might have, could have, I think, it's my opinion, I'm speculating here, but
went online, and I don't. Again, this is speculation. I think it happened in February. I think when you look at the docket prior to February, things look pretty normal. She didn't do anything that was terribly weird prior to Woodnick getting involved, moving for sanctions, raising these red flags or alarms, and saying, "Judge, we have a pregnancy faker." After that, in February, and you'll read this in my appeal brief because I go through the timeline, things get really weird in terms of what Mata did, how she did it. She granted a motion, Laura's motion to dismiss the case. She granted that twice. A month goes by, and then she changes her mind and ungrants it. She said that the issue of sanctions was moot, and then she granted sanctions that she had just said were moot.
I don't remember there being a motion
There
to
are things
dismiss.
that I've never seen anything like this. And again, I don't mean to channel Mr. Trump.
The case was going to be dismissed in December of 2023, I believe, for no movement on the case. It just sat there because she didn't know what to do. She didn't know how to say she lost the babies, and her lawyer quit on her and everything else. So it just sat there. So for lack of progress, they were going to dismiss the case. Right. And then he came in and filed that. Don't be mean to channel Mr. Trump. He talks about Trump all the time. He's so freaking infuriating. It's like he wouldn't know the truth, but bit him in the ass.
I looked at some stuff. I just got carried away.
I'll look up
Imagine that she said that.
I might be wrong on that.
If she said that, that would guarantee Laura the right to a new trial. Guarantee. And we're not asking. My primary argument in the appeal is not for a new trial. That's an alternative relief we're asking for. The primary relief that we're asking for is to dismiss the entire case, throw the judgment out, and Laura walks.
That's not going to happen. You can't go back and say, yeah, she did this, but she did this. Like, what's done is done. It's done. She did it. The best you're going to get would be attorney fees. And you're not going to get that. Like, she lied in open court. She stood up and said, "Judge, can I show him my belly?" And it wasn't. Q? What's Q? I don't know what Q is. I don't know what they're going to do if she gets charged, because they're going to go flipping batshit crazy.
That's the relief we're asking for. As a fallback to that, we'll ask for a new trial. We have asked for a new trial. But this issue of Mata, did she do it? Did she not do it? The Judicial Conduct Commission, I think, has information that would be helpful to that, and I would like to have it. I'm not entitled to it yet. We're going to get to that point. For now, I'm going to sit back and let them do their thing. And this is not personal. I'm not angry at Judge Mata for how she ruled. I've had other trials that I've lost. I don't ever get mad at a judge who is fair.
This is all rhetoric.
I serve as a judge.
He's got nothing.
I serve as an arbitrator. I'm in 2 capacities. Number 1, I work for the state bar as a unpaid volunteer fee arbitrator, but the state bar is a program where if a lawyer and a client have an argument about fees, they can go to the state bar. The state bar will assign an arbitrator, and the arbitrator has basically a hearing, a trial, and then decides whether the lawyer loses. And I've done that multiple times.
Are you still talking?
And I may even share some of my rulings. I write like 20-page complicated rulings. Responsibility, and it's something I take incredibly seriously when I do it. I don't think Mata took that seriously in this case. To have your dad there, not against any rule, to have
I might need to get up and take a walk for a minute. You know what? On a personal level, me to you, fuck you, dude. Fuck you. Who the fuck are you to say she can't have her dad in a public courtroom? Fuck you. Come on. Wow. You know what? Some people aren't lucky enough to have their dads around. And just because you and your daddy own a business doesn't mean that everybody has their dads in their pocket, filling their bank accounts. Some people don't have that time with their dads and miss out on a lot of it. So let them have the fucking time. And stop acting like that is such a bad thing. That a father is proud of his daughter and wants to watch her do what she does. Because there is not an ounce of evidence that he interfered in any way, shape, or form. There is not an ounce of actual, tangible, physical evidence, digital or physical, that she communicated with him in any way, shape, or form. It's all your conjecture, and it's infuriating.
have your sister follow Clayton on Instagram, not against any rule, to favor one party and rule in favor of that party on every single issue, every single time because they were on a TV show. That's not a judge. That is not what we have judges for. Is that what happened here? That's my opinion. That's my personal opinion based on the facts that I've explained. And that opinion could be wrong. I would love Judge Mata. There's nothing preventing Judge Mata from issuing an order right now. She could do it tomorrow. Issue an order and say, there's been a conflict regarding whether or not I researched something. I'm informing the parties I did not, my clerk did, or some other explanation, whatever it is. Mata could do that tomorrow.
She could if that was the truth, but it's not, or she would have done that already, because judges, for the most part, are the most ethical people on earth. They live and die by these laws. They read them for fun. They know them backwards and forwards, and they are not going to break one of them for, no offense, but some dude that was on The Bachelor. No offense, Clayton. I mean, you've done pretty well. But I didn't know who you were when you were on The Bachelor. And unless Judge Mata watches that, she didn't know who you were. So what does it matter? How about, Mr. Dushkanu Esquire, you explain to us, and remember, I say that with all respect, because I can't say your name, why you are willing to overlook all common sense in every way, shape, and form and manufacture these untruths and stretch the truth to the point that it is about to snap in order to try. And what? Like, what's going to happen? Are you just, is it about money? Because she lost and she has to pay these fees? Just have her declare bankruptcy. It'd probably help her parents, get out from under that house. Like, what? Like, none of it makes sense. You're going to lose everything. Why? 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 Explain it to me. Make it make sense. I can't make it make sense. I need to know. I need to know why you're doing this. Why are you sacrificing everything for her? You are not that stupid of a person. You can't be. Did he play football or hockey? Could he have like that concussion thing? He might have that concussion thing. Maybe he's got that concussion thing and it's just totally doesn't, out of touch with reality. Like, because you're gonna sit in front of a panel of your peers at the bar at some point, and they're going to look at you and they're going to say, seriously, David? Seriously? Like, you saw this? So it's the fat suit? Like, you saw this video? You saw her pulling it up and it went way up and like hit her in the chin? You saw that? And you thought that was real? Okay. All right. Okay. Yep. Yep. Okay.
She did not, by the way, in her bar complaint, unbelievably, she did not accuse me of making a false claim against her. She actually said the opposite. She said that she talks about the notice of change of judge, which is where I accused her of misconduct. And she says the court takes no issue with the notice, meaning she does not challenge, she did not challenge to the bar what I said in my notice of change of judge. She
Why
did.
would she?
Quote, I'll just show you the quote. Can we focus?
No,
Mr.
you
Jingles
have
was
on the blur.
unprofessional and inappropriately disparaging within his pleading. For example, look, Judge, I'm a real daddy. Look, Judge, I'm a real daddy now. Look, Aurora, I'm a real cat now.
That was one of the most disrespectful things I've seen in a pleading. I have never seen anyone write stuff like that. Openly and directly insulting a judge in a pleading. Like, I don't know if he thinks that's okay.
So she didn't like that. I don't
Maybe things
blame
are
her for
different
not
in Arizona.
liking that.
Gee,
I
I
didn't
wonder
like
why
it
she
when I
didn't like
wrote
it.
it. I
So
stand
maybe you
by
should
it
have wrote it.
10,000%, and I would write the same thing a million times till the end of time. I did not.
Hold on, I need to write down this timestamp for my bar complaint. Okay.
Not mean to insult her. I meant to criticize her actions by describing in a pleading that was not for Mata to decide. That went to her boss. What I was trying to do was convey how Judge Mata's actions made Laura and I feel that day. We
That's
felt,
even worse.
I don't want to say humiliated isn't the right word. We felt that Mata was putting on a show, a circus, that she was trying to be a ringmaster, putting on a circus for entertainment purposes only. And I cannot tell you how angry that makes me. She put my physical.
I'm going to file a complaint for hurting my brain. And in the second line, I'm going to put nanny, nanny, boo, boo. How do you spell? Are we 3 years old? Are we 3 years old? I feel like he's looking at me. We're connecting. He's understanding. Like, I could be his therapist. I could talk him through this. You can't do that. That is not okay. Go sit in the corner for 5 minutes and think about what you did. And you're not going to ever do this again. Do you understand me? Right now. Go.
Safety at risk. I had a gun. I brought a gun with me to court, not into the building. You're not allowed to do that. In Arizona's open carry state, you can have a gun anywhere you want. It was in the car. I had private security with me, which I've never done. I had court security because we were afraid that some lunatic JFC cult member was going to run up to us and blow our heads off.
Y'all, I'm done. He's as fucking batshit crazy as his client. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? You have threatened so many people. You have threatened. You have threatened. You have threatened to take their houses, to make them homeless, to make them pay, to dance on their graves. You have said these words and written them. They are memorialized on the interwebs forever. You have said them over and over again. Tell me a threat that has been made against you. Tell me one. Show me one. Show me. Show me. Show me a threat. Show me where someone has threatened bodily harm against you. Unfucking believable. Unfucking believable.
And Judge Mata put us in that position when there was nothing for the court to decide. There was no motion for sanctions because that had been withdrawn. Laura had moved to withdraw her paternity petition, so there was no paternity issue to decide. The only reason that we were there was as entertainment. And I cannot tell you how angry that makes me. God forbid something had happened that day. If it doesn't make you angry, I don't care what you think about Laura. I don't care what you think about me.
Yes,
If
you
you
make
were
me
put in that
so angry.
position
Look at my
where a
face.
judge
Do you see my
put you
angry
on
face?
parade for her dad.
You know what? You're right. They never should have been in court in the first place. Do you know why? Because your batshit crazy client should not have pretended to be pregnant when she wasn't. Go all the way back in the text messages. Look at those dates really closely. There is not a woman on this earth who has known she was pregnant 4 days after a blowy. And I will admit, stuff happens. Sometimes stuff gets places and everything else. But you can't combine all those catastrophic, like, once in a million year things into one. Like, just bow out gracefully and like move on with your life. You are making a mockery of our justice system and it infuriates me. And stop harassing people who are doing this better than you, which pretend that I'm doing it better than somebody because I'm not today. A little worked up today. I had a bad week, so this is like my therapy. I'm venting. I'm getting it all out. I saw a lot of bad cases this week. A lot about everything this week. But seriously, respectfully, Mr. Deuce Canoe Esquire, if you would like to come after me and sue me for defamation, I understand. I do. However, good luck proving anything I said wasn't true, my opinion. True? My opinion. True. Yeah. Dude, you got nothing. You got nothing. Your cup be emptieth. Just bow out gracefully. Shake the other hand's team. Move along. Declare bankruptcy. That's all she could do. They're gonna do it anyways. Oh, the Defamation Defense Fund. Yeah, I could tell you a lot about Mr. Deuce Canoe Esquire. I did a little surface snorkeling last night just to see what we were talking about because I am putting together a stream about his side of the case because I am truly fascinated by his involvement in it. I'm fascinated by the lengths he has gone to, and I have sincerely thought about reaching out to him many times just to say, like, why are you doing this? Like, what are you doing? Are you out of your mind? And then he's got an end game. He's got to have an end game somewhere. Thank you, Joris, but that's not how copyright works. You can't just say, I copyrighted that, that's mine, nobody can touch it, it's mine, stay away. I'm muted. Hate this microphone, you touch it. It's just like the earbuds. Like, they take the earbuds and they make it so that if you touch them, they turn off. Like, why would you make it so that if you touch something in your ear, it turns off? How are you supposed to reposition the things in your ear where the only way to reposition them is to touch them? And when you touch them, they turn off. I hate touchy stuff. There are many things that go into whether or not something is considered fair use. I actually put out a video about it related to the Lily Jean Truman and what's her mom's name? Laura. She doesn't have the A, just Laura Truman, who have essentially tried to wipe themselves off the internet because I don't really know why, but anybody who has anything about them on the internet, let's see if I can make myself bigger. It's kind of nifty once I get the hang of this new program. They just copyright strike everything, and they actually got kicked off of YouTube. I think they got suspended. They probably went and created fake accounts, but she's the one who had the fake Instagram account, and then the one guy called her out, and then she's been harassing him in real life ever since. Oh, I'm a little bit too big. No, that's too big. Oh, that's too big. How do I get smaller? I need smaller. Oh, I get. Okay, we're gonna have to work on this. So, the other thing was the video that I was working on today that I put off until tomorrow because I got distracted is an attorney in Florida who filed a baseless lawsuit. And it was about payment for services rendered, like utility work and things. So it wasn't like completely baseless. It wasn't like, hey, I'm pregnant with your twins, pay me money. Way opposite side of the spectrum is that. So it is really interesting to go through and listen to the Court of Appeals process as they're walking this attorney through, like, why did you do this? Why did you do that? Why did you do this? And I think that, unfortunately, the thing that's going to hurt, yeah, I can't do it, Mr. Duskanu Esquire, the worst is, I can't say his name. Like, I can't even remember it. I remember a G. My brain, I have holes in my brain. No, I really do. Is that he's cocky and he thinks he's untouchable and he thinks he's better than everybody else. And he thinks that he's smarter than everybody else, which he may be, but I think what he's not counting on is it's like 2 against everybody else, because nobody else can see whatever warped up, weird, twisted version of reality they've concocted for themselves. Nobody can fantasize that hard, I guess. I don't know. Are we just a bunch of realists? Are we just not cool enough? I've tried really hard to. Yay, new sub. Thank you so much. So I am giving away prize packs. You are due 1 prize pack, but I need to make 3 of them so that whoever wins can pick from the prize packs, because I can't just what if I give Julie a prize pack and it's the bee themed prize pack and she got stung by a bee last week and swelled all up and she's allergic to bees and now she's terrified of bees. That's not right. So I have to have 3. So I just gotta take pictures of them. The stuff's all over the place. So I will do it tomorrow. I will do a short live tomorrow night and I will announce the winner. I have them all from up until the first milestone in a little name picker thing. So I'll have to go on a different platform to get so you guys can see it. And what else was it? I don't know. Was there anything else? Did I miss something, you guys? No? Yes? Maybe? So I wasn't intending on doing this live tonight, just so you know. I was gonna go to bed hours ago. Penny came and told me it was time for dinner, 3 o'clock, which is 2 hours early. So I thought, ooh, we're going to bed 2 hours early tonight. Yes! I guess we're about on time. Okay, so everybody, thank you for sticking around. Oh, look, here, I can show you some funsies. These aren't done yet. Since I don't have my blur on. The little things you hang in your car or on your mirror. Forget the mistake. Remember the lesson. And ma. And then I have some car air fresheners. I gotta tie these up. Oh, that comes with some pliers. Best grandma ever. What else do I have? At least my, oh, where's the thing? At least my dog loves me. And the dog's glamour shots came in today, so all we have to do is sign them. We are ready to go. So as soon as we hit, what's the next milestone? I think 70,000 is the next one. I know weird things happen in my chat. You never know what's gonna happen. Crazy things happen. I hit buttons. I lose control. I don't know what to do. Natalia, I am going to put some of these things in my store. I have the merch store back up and running. I just have a couple things in it. I have the spoon shirt for, oh, who wanted the spoon shirt? It wasn't Rogue Mama, it was someone else. It wasn't Heartland, it was E. Okay, anyways, somebody. So I have the spoon shirt back up and I have the Stay Out of Fulton County shirt up and then I have another one up. So if there's something you want to see, let me know. I might throw some of these things up there because I have so many of them. I don't know why. I buy things in bulk. It's like when you look at something, you say, okay, well, I can get one for $1, but for $5, I can get 100. So why would I just buy one in case I want another one? Then what if I want 3? Then I'm over. And I say, well, if I don't like them, then I can sell them to somebody else that wants them, and then I break even. And then I don't do that, and then they pile up, and then I have too much stuff. Then I need to do it, but I don't have time to do it. Yeah. Crazy world we live in. Okay, well, I hope I didn't anger Mr. David Dushkanu Esquire too much. I'm sorry if you don't like what I say. The truth hurts sometimes. Everything I said was the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God, to the best of my knowledge. And, oh, I have one that says I should come with a warning label. No, it wasn't. That was my right hand. The camera flippy camera. I didn't flip my camera back. Yeah, he's easily angered, so I think I'm gonna go have a glass of wine since I'm not supposed to drink, it'll probably have like 10 times the effect. And go have a nice, relaxing sleep. Because when I wake up tomorrow morning, I'm probably gonna have a lot of nasty messages. I love that picture of Judge Simpson. Tell me again. She did what? Mm-hmm. All right. Twins? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. Thank you so much for your support, as always. It truly, truly, truly means the world to me. Everyone else may say that. I truly mean it. I appreciate you. You keep me going every day. Because if it wasn't for you, I probably wouldn't get out of bed. Well, you and the dogs. But I mean, they could poop on the floor, you know. I had no way to talk to you otherwise. So, thank you. I appreciate you so much. I think this program just did that on its own. I'm totally creeped out now. Okay, on that note. All right, bye, guys.